Shalom. This Hawood. Hey y'all, listen, right? I really was waiting for a comment about the Genesis reading. And I'm like so surprised. I'm like, damn, nobody? Because I really, listen, y'all, I really want to know, like, once you hear it, and you may have thought it, I'm quite sure a lot of us, you know, by reading it, thought it. But when you hear somebody else do it, and then they make emphasis on certain words, like, yo, look what this shit say. So I'm like really was looking forward to, you know, hearing some opinions, and you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because I like when people tell me how they feel about something, or what they, well, however it is, or, you know, some people tell you how they feel, some people tell you, you know, what they perceive something to be. You know, the one thing I don't like is when somebody say, translate. And I'm like, what? Like, please don't say translate to me. Because that just don't make sense to me. You know what I mean? It don't. It's like, now it's like you just trying to cover up, or trying to make up for something, or trying to make something sound the way you want it to sound, because you can't change the outcome of what this word is saying, or a certain word is saying. But I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I was really looking forward to, you know, somebody saying something. I really was. And I didn't get not one comment. I'm getting some alright views though. I appreciate the views, yo. I do, man. You know what I'm saying? And I banks like one thing for sure, two things for certain, y'all. I really bang with my brother Big Judah, man, because the one thing I can always say about that brother, man, and it's some real shit. If he hears something and it's lining up, and I'm not saying line up what he believed, but lining up with scripture, and it makes sense on the side of scripture, or even if it's saying something that he was going to say, but you got to it first, he'll put you out there. He won't gatekeep it. He won't, you know what I mean? And I really appreciate the brother for that, man, because it take a lot of honesty to do that, and it's not a lot of honest people out here now, y'all. And if y'all notice, what I read to y'all the other day, where it says wit and understanding will pretty much be removed, you can clearly see that it has and is being removed. Because if you listen to the excuses that people come up with for certain things, it just don't make sense. It don't. So, peep game, right? I'm gonna put y'all down with something, right? So I get a service call for a heater, right? I fixed the heater for this lady, older lady before. Not the lady I went to, but this other lady. And, you know, things was going on in her crib. That's none of my business, you know what I mean? I'm here to do a job, and that's all I'm doing. But, regardless of what was going on in her property, she understood that I was there to do a job, and I had to get paid for my work, right? So as I fixed the lady heater, after people lied to her and told her she needed all this extra shit, she didn't need it. As I fixed her heater, she, a couple days go by, she refers me to another lady. And this is an older woman too. So I thought, but she's clearly doing things that she shouldn't be doing, if y'all know what I mean. And I'm in there, and I'm, you know, I tell her what's going on. Well, first, it looked like she needed a new blower motor, but then as I started paying attention and like diagnosing, I realized that the motor was wired wrong, and then they had the squirrel cage like crammed so tight against the blower housing. So I just adjusted the cage where it's sitting where it's supposed to be. I rewired it. Bad boy came right on. So I charged it 2.5. Right. She put something on it for herself or whatever, because somebody else was paying for it. That's not my problem. It wasn't nothing major. It was like a little $25 or shit. Whatever. So as we waiting for the person that she's going through to get her heat fixed for a family member. She brings up a Trump Senate situation, right? She says, "Hey, what do you think about that? Yeah. So, I run down the whole thing, like with the indigenous, he threw a little joint. A lot of us is not looking at it in the whole spectrum. We looking at it as handicaps and worrying about fucking handouts and shit like that. And don't understand that if we do what we're supposed to do and take this information and use it correctly, that we will be the heads in no time, because you just literally told us what we are and what's going on. Like, you can't say something's yours if it ain't yours. So the way they wrote us out of history, we could write them right back out. You know what I'm saying? So so she says, well, my dad is 1% Wampanoag. So I said, fuck you mean 1% Wampanoag. Now listen, y'all, I want y'all to understand something. I am a very outspoken person. I am very bold. And I will cuss your ass out in a heartbeat. Especially if you say some dumb shit. And I'm just being honest with you. I won't disrespect you unless you want to be disrespected. But if you say some stupid shit, I'm gonna give you some stupid shit right back to you. So she tells me her dad is 1% Wampanoag. So I said, the fuck you mean your dad 1% Wampanoag? She said, yeah, that's what I said, there's no such thing as 1% anything. So she says, well, what do you mean? I said, so you talking about that fake ass ancestry shit that they telling you? She says, yes. I said, so let me ask you a question. She said, go ahead. I said, who the fuck did they dig up to match your dad's DNA with to tell you that he was 1% something? She said, huh? I said, if you can you can hear. Who did they dig up to match your father's DNA with? And it had to be a couple people, because if he's 1% Wampanoag, he's 10% something else, 15% something else, 20% something else. He's a lot. So who the fuck was they digging up? So she said, well, what are you talking about? They got to dig up. I said, all right, so now I'm going to ask you a question. If you don't think that they have to match DNA specimen with DNA specimen to find out if there's a match, why do they swab the dad and the son to see if the father is if the dad is the father to that child? If they don't have to do that, they could just fucking swab the son and say, that's your child. Why do they do that? And she said, oh shit, you're right. I said, well, you know what, sister? I will do this for you. I will literally tip my hat that I don't have on my head to you, because at least you have an open mind, and you caught that really quick. She said, nah, you right. Like, shit, I didn't think about that. I said, yeah, a lot of stuff we don't think about, because they make it sound so good. It's like a nice butter cake with some lemon frosting right in front of you. Irresistible. You know what I'm saying? She was like, wow, yeah, you're right. I said, okay, so they have to match your DNA. There is no, they just take your DNA and swab you with the dirt, right? They're liars. And you need to stop following behind a liar, right? So she said, I said, so your dad is Wampanoag 9 times out of 10, he's 100% Wampanoag. You know, he is with his father is, and he is with his mom is. So whatever his mom is, He's that, and you know what I mean. But we just one people. That's just a tribal name. So she's like, okay. So I said, now let me ask you a question. You know this our land? She said, oh yeah, I know that. I said, cool. She said, but you don't see something wrong with them cutting off this and cutting off that? I said, all right, I'm gonna rewind this tape back to you because I can tell you do catch on. But I'm gonna rewind this tape and I'm gonna ask you that question again. You know this our land? She said, yeah. I said, so why would you take handouts from somebody that's operating on your land? She says, okay, I'm trying to catch it. I said, so let's just say the Comcast building downtown is built on Wampanoag land, and that is actually your father's land from generation to generation. Who that building belong to? She said, my dad. And I said, and you are his what? His daughter, his heir, right? She said, yeah. I said, is your dad alive? She said, no. I said, so who does that building belong to? She said, it belonged to me. So why would you take handouts when they literally have buildings operating on your fucking land? And all you got to do is return back to who and what you are and make they ass pay you. They either gonna leave it or they gonna pay you. One or the other. And she was like, oh shit. I said, so why would you be bitching about some food stamps when you got all that? I said, instantly we can go from the tail right back to the head quick if we stop bitching about handouts and take what belongs to us. I said the worst thing they could have did was kick them fake people off this land, and literally just gave us the thumbs up, like, yeah, it's your land. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, oh wow. So then I said, all right, well, let's get out of that because now I want to get into some real shit. And y'all know what I did. I went right after that motherfucker, dog. I went dead after him. Because I saw a cross on top of the door. And she said, the blood of somebody. And I turned around and I looked at her and I said, the blood of who? And she said, you know what? And I said, well, how about this? I said, listen. Nobody died for you. She said, huh? I said, oh shit. If you can you can hear. I said, you should know what I'm gonna say. Nobody died for you. You died for yourself, right? So she's like, damn, you mean. I said, no, I'm not mean. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. And I ain't with the bullshit. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. And I'm not gonna sit here and try to hold your hand. Nobody fucking died for you. And so I asked her a question. I said, so you believe in that he's the son of the Most High or whatever, right? The son of God, and then he all of a sudden he is the Most High, whatever, you know, that whole shit. She said, well, that's what, you know. I said, okay, fine. That's what you believe, right? She said, yeah. I said, all right, cool. I said, riddle me this, honey. How many firstborns can you have? She was like, huh? I said, how many firstborns can you have? She said, one. I said, okay. How many only begottens can you have? If your son is upstairs, is your only begotten, is it two of them or is it one of them? She said, it's one. I said, all right, cool. I said, let's do this. I'm going to go to the second book of the Torah. That means Genesis and Exodus, right? I'm going to go to Exodus 4 and 20. I'm going to read this to you. And I want you to tell me, what did you hear? And I read it. Where it says, go unto Pharaoh and tell Pharaoh that Israel is my firstborn. No, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. and tell him to let my son go, so that he may serve me. And if thou wilt not let my son go, I will slay your son. I will slay your son. Boom. Read it to her. She looking at me. She's like, I don't understand what you're saying. I said, okay. Let me do this. I'm going to read this to you. Hosea 11:1. When Israel was a child, then I loved him, and I called my son out of Egypt. As they called, so they went, and they sacrificed and made oblations to Balaam. She said, so somebody's calling their son and telling their son to come out of Egypt. Okay. I said, good. Now, you know, I said, so son is what? Plural or singular? She said, it's a singular word. I said, cool. That's what it says, right? So you would think this is talking about the person you was talking about. She said, oh, the Matthew, right. I said, I read Exodus 20 because Exodus 20 lines up with Hosea. You put them together, that's precept upon precept. She said, oh, wow, okay. All right, now, let's go, baby. I said, what was the name of the son that the Most High called out of Egypt? His only begotten, his firstborn. What was the name? She said, Israel. Okay. Tell me where Jesus was called Israel. She said, no, Jacob was the only one called Israel. I said, and his what? Is the offspring of his sons, correct? She said, yeah. I said, okay. So who is the only begotten son of who you call God? She said, Israel. Like, you should have saw her face. She was like, Israel. So I said, so why are you calling that man the only begotten son of the Most High? She said, oh my God. I said, oh yeah, you're God. So I said, now, let me ask you a question. I'm your son. You had me, right? You laid down and you gave birth to me, right? I am your only son. She said, okay. I said, you have rules in your home that I must abide by, right? Commandments, correct? She said, yes. I said, if I steal your money, am I breaking one of your commandments? She said, yes. I said, now, question. What would you do if I stole your money and broke your commandment? She said, I'll beat your ass. Why would you beat my ass? She said, to teach you not to steal my money. Okay, why? Because it was wrong and you shouldn't do it. I worked for it. I said, okay. Now, if I was the parent and my son stole from me, I would whip his ass. That's true. But I would also make his ass work off that money that he stole, even though I got it back. But I would make him work for it. And she said, okay. I said, do you know why? She says, no. I said, I would make him work for it so he can see what I had to do to get that money that he so carelessly stole from me. So he know what pain and what, traumas I have to go through to make that money. So now he learned. He knows two things now. He knows not to steal from me because I'm going to whoop his ass. And he also knows that I had to bust my ass to get that money because he had to bust his ass to pay back the money that I already took back from him. And she was like, oh, wow, that's good. I said, this is why fathers are important. I said, because you only thought about beating me. I'm looking at the lesson that he has to learn also. She said, she said, you know what? I can't say nothing about that one. She said, damn, that was a good one. So I said, all right, cool. Let's not jump off a subject. So let's go. She said, okay. I said, now that we have come to an understanding that you have to chastise and teach your child about breaking the commandments and why they shouldn't break that commandment, do you see it okay if I was to say to you, why would you beat your son for stealing your money? Why don't you let him beat your ass so he'll know that you love him? And she said, what the fuck are you talking about? I said, what? She said, why would I let my son beat me up to prove to him that I loved him when he broke my rules? I said, well, why would you worship a God that sent his only son down to get murdered by you, and you broke his law to prove to you that he loved you? She sat back in that chair and she said, oh, damn. And I'm putting the emphasis on it, y'all. You know, I'm putting a little extra, because that's what she said. She sat back and said, oh, damn. I said, what? She said, I really never thought of that. I said, what did he supposed to die for? She said, our sins. Why would somebody have to die for some shit you did? She said, oh, wow. I said, now, if you read Deuteronomy 28 and right after 15, it tells you, when you break the Most High laws, all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. These curses are the judgments for breaking the Most High's commandment. That when you whooped your son's ass, that was the judgment for stealing his money. I said, when I said whoop his ass and make him work for it, that was the judgment for stealing the money. So the Most High judged us, and they came and told you, no, he gotta die. Beat your mama up. I said, do you not see how stupid that is? What are you going to learn by beating the shit out of your parents when you do something wrong, or taking their life, or whatever you want to call it? And she said, oh, wow. She said, if I went to a pastor, he would kick me out of his church. I said, do you know why he would kick you out of his church? She said, yeah, because what he's telling me is a lie, and he can't prove that his lie is right. But he would not do that in his own house, but he would tell us to do it in ours. I said, there you go. I said, it was set up to destroy your people. So I said, now, my sister, if I made that sound so simple to you, and you telling me these people go to school for theology and they're supposed to be so smart, you telling me they don't know what the fuck they reading, and they read this all the time? I said, so who helped destroy your people? She said, the church. I said, hello, how you doing? There you go. So, with that being said, she sat back in her chair. She put her hand over her mouth, and she said, well, I don't know who to pray to. I said, well, I wouldn't be calling on that motherfucker. I know that's for sure. So I said, so what you can do, you can go into National Congressional Library of Congress, and you can start listening to those audio tapes of the indigenous people, our people, in the 1800s when they were praising the Most High and they telling you it's something else, and you can listen to the name that they call on. And she said, well, what do you mean? I said, so, you know when they call it an Indian chant? She said, yeah. I said, well, it's a praise. And I said, so if I do this in front of you, I said, what it's going to do is going to make your eyes water, especially now. I said, you're probably going to get pig skin with chills. You know, your bump get all bumpy, your skin get all bumpy. And she said, okay. She was like, oh, really? Is that deep? I said, yeah. So I go, hey, 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 hey. I do the, you know, hey, 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 hey. And you can see the water welling up in her eyes, y'all. You should have saw it. I should have recorded her ass. But, you know, you can't do that. But, yeah, she had water welling up in her eyes. And, y'all, it was crazy. And you could see it. You could tell she was uncomfortable because she was, like, rubbing her arms and stuff. And she was just sitting there. And you could see her eyes watering. She was just like, oh, my God. She was like, we've been lied to. She was like, they've been lying and lying. She said, they really been having us worship. I don't even know what that is. So then, you know, I said, well, it tell you that we will be sold to the Greeks, right? I said, well, you know, the Greeks and the Romans, they pretty much the same fucking people. So she was like, oh. So I said, what you're doing is you're worshiping Greek and Roman gods. That's a Greek god. That's why it's written in Greek. I said, and if anybody tells you that the Most High came to speak Greek to you, that's a fucking lie. Because that's the sense, where is he speaking English? Because I don't hear nobody saying nothing in English. You know what I'm saying? And the thought in my mind is, you don't know what language that is, to be honest with you, because it's your mind speaking. And it just makes sense. So you can say it's English, but who says it is? And who says that what we speaking now is English? Like, you got to be careful, because people lie a lot. I said, just like the Hebrew tongue, they telling you this is Hebrew. You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know what you speaking or what they telling you to speak. You don't know. So you got to be careful. I said, but the one thing for sure, two things for certain, they will never tell you the name of your damn power. Never. That's like calling giving you the cell phone number to the damn bully down the street. You know what I mean? The one person that can whoop my ass, I'm going to give you a cell phone number to call him for me. Like, get the hell out of here. So, you know, she just was like, that's crazy. And, you know, now listen. Some people, I won't do that to. Like, if I don't get that, you know what I mean? You know, y'all know what I'm talking about. That it's like a drive, right? It's a drive. Like, you just can't help it. You just gotta say something. You know what I mean? If I don't get that, I'm not saying shit. Nope. And it's like the Creator send you to who He wants you to talk to. And don't get me wrong, sometimes, right? Sometimes you get a drive for a person, and that person they don't receive it at the moment. But you do what comes in your mind, like what scriptures come in your mind, what words come in your mind. You release what comes in your mind out your mouth, right? Because He said, I will put my words in your mouth, right? And what happens is, because I had a lady, right, one time, and I got that drive, and, you know, so I had to go ahead and let her rip, right? And she did not, it was so bad, because it was like somebody my homie knew that he sent me, you to do the thing, to fix a heater for. And, the funny thing is, right, she brung it up. She brung up some church stuff to me. And I got it's because usually if I don't get it, I won't say nothing. So I got that, that drive, and I went in on her, just let her know what it was. And she went back to him, and, of course she lied and said, I started, talking shit about him, this and all that, whatever, and he was like, damn, bro, you can't do that. And like, I had to tell him, don't tell me what I can't do. Don't tell me that, because my thing is, if somebody come at me about church, I'm gonna come at them about what's really going on. And if they can't handle it, that's their fucking problem. You know what I'm saying? But don't say it. But I did get the urge to say something to her, so I said it. And she, she did all that extra shit. And guess what? Something happened the following year, right, with her unit, because she didn't listen to what I told her to do. And when I got over there, right, her whole fucking attitude was different. Because what happened was that little mustard seed that got planted, that motherfucker got big. And it put doubt in her mind, right? She had doubt in her heart, right? And she told me. And she was like, she started questioning her pastor and questioning everything, and motherfucker couldn't answer. And you know what he told her? He believed what he believed. So she said, well, how are you talking about you my spiritual leader, and I'm asking you questions about something that somebody brought to my attention, and you can't answer them? So your answer is, I believe what I believe. So she told him, so you telling me, because you believe what you believe, I have to believe it too? And she said she couldn't, she had to leave the church. She couldn't deal with it. She said it was convicting her or whatever, I said, well, that's your church stuff right there. But, of course you're going to have those tendencies still in you. But, she said, I couldn't. She was like, she felt so betrayed. She was like, so all this y'all asking for money, talking about to keep the creator's house up, and she was like, and when I read it, it has nothing to do with money. She was like, money has nothing to do with it. She's like, she was like, it's all about the first fruits and this, and I'm like, yeah, to take care of the Levites, to help the Levites, because they're the only ones that didn't get land. Their job was to take care of the temple. She was like, right. She said, I'm so disgusted. And I'm like, okay. So then I said, so now, that holy smoke stuff you do. And it's, now listen, this is the part that amazes me. She said that she practiced her dance, right? I said, what do you mean you practice your dance? I said, I thought the spirit come over y'all, and y'all just whatever, y'all speak this language that y'all whatever. I said, but come to find out, it's just two words that y'all keep repeating over and over and over again. I said, and that's a weird ass fucking language that only got two words to it. Everybody got their own 2 words or 3 words or whatever. But yeah, I said, and you start jigging and shit. I said, I thought. She said, no. She said, she said, after a while, you just get caught up in it. I said, oh. So what happens is, you actually are channeling an entity, and in the beginning, the entity is really not connecting with you first. And after you keep doing it, then it's like an urge. She said, yeah. I said, oh, wow. I said, that's witchcraft. So she said, what do you mean it's witchcraft? I said, miss, if you telling me that some spirit came over you when you first did it, I said, well, so when you first did it, did something come over you? She said, no. I just did it because I didn't want to keep going up there, right? I said, okay, makes sense. She said, but then she said she had to keep faking it. So they would hear certain beats, or the drummer would play a certain tone, right? Frequency, right? Like this beat, doom, 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 right? She said, or the pastor will start talking and the drummer go bam, bam, like a frequency, right? And she said, and people start popping out their seats, jumping around, and you know what I mean? And I said, I said, now listen, this is what I want you to do. I said, I want you to look at these singers, right? Like Beyonce and some of the others, and look at how they start getting possessed by these entities. You can see the change in their eyes, their face, everything. I said, look at them, look how they act, and then look at yourself when you was doing that, or think about yourself or one of the people in your church, and then look at it and tell me if it ain't the same thing. She said, I know what you're saying. She's like, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. She said, yeah. I said, why would the Creator make you get on the floor and gyrate your body like that? I saw one little lady was on the floor like she was having sex, like moaning and shit, and she was like, yeah, that happens a lot too. I said, y'all don't, like, you can't tell that's not good. That's not, why would the Most High want you to do that? And you probably got a husband. She's like, but they telling us the spirit. I said, ain't no fucking spirit. Yeah, well, you know what? It is a spirit. It ain't the one you think. You know? But, yeah, man, you know. So you be surprised, man. You get the urge, talk to somebody, they give you hell and hot water. But after, you can see them a year or two later, and they're a totally different person. They had their hair wrapped up, everything, where, well, a lot of women that go to church do, some women dress modestly. I ain't gonna say all of them, but a lot of them do. But, it's just like, you just be amazed, like, damn. Like, wow, like this shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? It really is. But that, so where it go, y'all. And this is what's happening. And what's going to happen is these people are going to see their God crumble right in their face. I mean, because if you think about it, right, it's so crazy, right? Let me tell you how crazy it is, right? You got people telling you they having dreams, white people telling you, it's all over the internet, telling they having dreams, and dude is coming to them telling them that the children of Israel is us, right? And, they like, Jesus came to me, he a black man, he told me, and I'm just like looking like, okay, how you know that was Jesus? How you know what he looked like? Like, think about that. You're telling me that you had a near-death experience, you had a dream, or whatever, and you're telling me that Jesus came to you and told you that the black people are the children of Israel, and you knew that was Jesus. How? And then you gotta go right to what it is, my man or my lady. There is no such thing as the letter J. So that is not that man's name. If that was whatever you're trying to say. But that name don't even exist. So if you said you're Jesus, he would probably look at you like you're crazy, because that's not even a fucking real word. So that's one problem. The second problem is, how you know that just wasn't an angel? And they're melanated. Because it tells you that, do tell you that. It tells you that. Daniel tells you that Michael was melanated. He had on a green girdle with a gold something around the paps. You know, that wasn't no damn Jesus. That was Michael, right? So, how you know it wasn't just a fucking angel? And you talking about that Jesus? Nah, it ain't. Nah. That's just funny, y'all. I laugh at people because they be coming up with some shit. But I gotta run in this market, y'all. I gotta get myself some, I gotta get my doggy some chicken, some whole chicken. Because he eat whole chicken. I bake him a whole chicken. And that's what he eat. So I gotta go get him some chicken. And I'm gonna probably grab me a couple little small things. And you know. So I'll holler at you young folk later. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Leave me some comments so I can enjoy the conversation. Shalom, my brothers. Shalom.